Beautiful day for a training camp practice. Not a lot of sun. Still hiding behind the clouds. The humidity hasn't really hit yet. The rain should, fingers crossed, hold off until later in the afternoon. Right around the time all the flights can get delayed and Tom Pelissero gets out of here. It is a perfect day for Inside Training Camp Live, presented to you by Old Spice. And we're thrilled that you are here with us, spending part of your football day with the New York Jets. We're here for 4 hours. Not just this team, but all 31 teams we're going to try to get on your screen. My name is Andrew Siciliano. This is Super Bowl champion and legend from about 25 minutes from here in East Rutherford, Sean O'Hara. Great to see you.
Good to see you.
And this is a man in the middle of, what, 13 teams in 13 days?
Do you know where you are? Do you know what state you're in?
I mean, you just did the Jets, Jets chant.
That's for you.
On social media. You're going to be hearing about that all day.
It's for the gram. At least I spelled it right, not like T. Rich.
Let that go right
Tony.
there.
At Tom Pelissero on the gram. And we are, with the Jets getting on the field behind us, practice about to get going in 15 minutes. Going to show you as much of the Jets as we can. Excited to have a bunch of Jets guests. There'll be surprises after the practice. And we have a beautiful scenic shot here from the patio. The tree, I believe it's an oak tree behind us on the field. The tree under which Rex Ryan once buried football and I believe some snacks. They call it, some people do the victory tree because it's shaped like a V there, as Woody Johnson, the owner, said.
It looks like the tree of
It's a
life.
great shot.
If you've ever been to
Looks like it's growing out of Sean's head
down in Disney
on TV here. You want to move your head real quick, Sean, so we can see it?
Yeah, right there. There we go.
There.
It looks really big, and I can't wait to see Mekhi Becton come out and stand next to it because I think once he's out there, it's going to look like a bonsai tree.
Great video of Mekhi Becton coming up a little bit later. But I don't know if you noticed, we had a game last night.
Live.
For the first time since February 13th, we had a professional football game. Now, granted, it was delayed like 45 minutes. Lightning had to send the teams inside in Canton.
Tony B.
But we eventually got the game. Tony Baselli's getting his gold jacket. The family of Cliff Branch there as well. Hence, that's why the Raiders and Derek Carr are in the Hall of Fame game. Granted, Derek Carr did not play, but Josh McDaniels, this was a homecoming. His dad coached there at Canton McKinley High School. He actually played his games in high school on that field. Excited to see Trayvon Walker. Didn't see Trevor Lawrence. He sat out as well. Very first snap, Sean, Trayvon Walker got to the quarterback.
Yeah, very first snap, but it's second down. Sure. Okay, so great first play right there. Trayvon Walker, obviously, everybody's been
He
hyping.
beat Brandon Parker. I was told it was the first snap on Good Morning Football today.
Sure,
Thanks for watching, Andrew.
Okay.
The
Maybe
fact
he
that
wasn't
he
in early.
already made his presence known is a good thing for
Maybe it was his
Jacksonville.
first pass rush snap.
Okay,
How
there
about
you
that?
go.
Maybe that's what it meant. As I said, Derek Carr not there. Devontae Adams not playing. But how about Josh Jacobs getting run in the first quarter? This is, I can see by the clock, the opening possession. He had 7 touches.
Yeah, a lot of reps, which normally you don't see from a starting running back. But this guy right here, I thought stole the show. Zamir White, look at this. This is his first carry, 14 yards. That wasn't that indeed his first play, first carry. Andrew,
The co-host jab.
Zamir White
had 75 total yards and a nice run there by
Look at
Amir
that.
Abdullah. And look
The
at the
Karate
finish, the
Kid.
Kyle Brandt finish for Amir Abdullah, the former Lion, the former Viking.
Is that the crane kick?
I don't know what that is. I know this is Jarrett Stidham, however, as they say, calling his own number to make it 20-0 Raiders inside of the 2-minute warning, and Derek Carr is having a laugh. Eventually, the Raiders hang on. The Raiders win 27-11. I, as Sean, noticed, was stuck in airport, purgatory. I did not actually see it live. So, Sean, you did. Your thoughts on the first game we've seen since February?
Well, let's start with Trayvon Walker, the #1 pick in the entire draft. And of course, everybody looked at him and said, yeah, he doesn't have the production that some of these other guys have, but the potential is there. We saw it firsthand last night. And I think just to see him kind of take over the game at times, he had a sack in that game, Andrew, where he basically with one arm just did a one-arm stab to Brandon Parker, the left tackle, and just knocked him right back here. I mean, that's not the sack. That's the first play of the game, allegedly, where he got the quarterback hit. It ended up being a penalty because he kind of hit the quarterback in the head. But the one-arm stab that he showed, just, unbelievable dominance right there. And physically, he just showed how he can overpower. There it is right there. There's the one-arm stab right there as he just pushed him back with one arm. So I thought that was huge. It's great for Jacksonville to have your #1 pick like that. And in the very first game, he shows up and kind of shows why you picked him 1 overall, because there was a lot of questions.
With regard to Josh Jacobs getting a lot of run in the Hall of Fame game, let's remember, former first-round pick under the prior regime. They declined his 5th-year option, new coaching staff with Josh McDaniels. sounds, and it certainly looks like Josh Jacobs has a lot to prove about who he is going to be as a part of this new program. Going out there and running in that game, the first step in that in game action.
Yeah, with Derek Carr, with Devontae Adams watching on the sideline, you normally do not see starters. Now, Matt Eberflus has said, and he's a new head coach in Chicago, he will play his starters in the first preseason game. The Raiders have 4 because of the Hall of Fame game. Josh Jacobs playing on his 5th year, or rather, they did not pick up the 5th-year option. This is year number 4, so keep that in mind as we head towards roster cutdowns. Josh Jacobs getting some run early. As mentioned, we're covering all 32 teams. We're covering also news from around the league as well. And for that, we have our NFL Network insider, Ian Rappaport. Where is Ian today? He is in Metairie, Louisiana with the Saints. We'll cover the Saints a little bit later. But for now, Ian, give us the latest on the Deshaun Watson appeal. After yesterday, Roger Goodell, who had the choice to hear that appeal, instead named a designee, someone here who in New Jersey they're familiar with.
Yeah, the former Attorney General from New Jersey, Peter C. Harvey, who has, of course, had a deep expertise in criminal law, including sexual assault. Remember, this is not a neutral arbitrator. This is not Sue L. Robinson, the former federal judge, who had dealt Deshaun Watson his original 6-game suspension. This is a designee of Roger Goodell and someone, of course, the league is extremely familiar with. It is not just that he has deep expertise in domestic violence and sexual assault. It is also that he helped shape the NFL's personal conduct policy and served as an advisor for the league on the Ezekiel Elliott investigation several years ago. So he will decide the eventual and final punishment for Deshaun Watson. And it is going to be final, as the league reiterated yesterday. As far as the timing of this, Tom, the NFLPA has until today, I believe at the close of business, to respond to this and file a brief or whatever they are going to submit. And then the final result should be determined on an expedited basis. So likely you will hear the final and firm Deshaun Watson suspension. The league, of course, pushing for a year. We'll see what it ends up being. We will hear that next week. And then, of course, remains to be seen how the NFLPA and Deshaun Watson will react.
Ian, let's go back to before Sue L. Robinson handed down that 6-game suspension for Deshaun Watson. The NFLPA the night before put out a statement saying, we and Deshaun Watson are not going to appeal the decision by Sue Robinson, whatever it is, and we call on the NFL to do the same. Well, the NFL obviously went a different direction and filed that appeal on Wednesday. I would fully anticipate that the brief that the NFL Players Association files today has very strong language about their feelings about how the disciplinary process has been used here by Roger Goodell and the NFL. Of course, under the collective bargaining agreement, the NFL, like the NFLPA, does have the right to appeal the suspension, which is what the league did here, and it is up to Roger Goodell or his designee to actually make that final decision. It's quite likely that if, in fact, his designee ends up increasing the suspension for Deshaun Watson, that this is going to end up in federal court. But we also still have a little bit of runway here for a third round of potential settlement talks. Is there a number of games and a fine that the NFL would also like that would be acceptable to both sides? If not, then, as we know, the NFL is once again pushing for indefinite banishment for Deshaun Watson of a minimum 1 year with conditional reinstatement possible in 2023.
More of this Deshaun Watson story as the details come in. Close of business today, awaiting the union response. Thank you, Ian. Thank you, Tom. This is Inside Training Camp Live, presented to you by Old Spice. As we continue, we remind you to go get NFL Plus. No matter where you are, this is how you football. You get live, local, and primetime regular season, postseason games on your phone or on your tablet. You get game replays. You get so much more. Plus.nfl.com. Plus.nfl.com. Go there now. Start your free trial today. We're going to Carolina coming up next. How's that quarterback competition going between Baker Mayfield and former Jet Sam Darnold? Steve Smith Sr. will tell you. He's in Charlotte.
Presented by Old Spice. Smell ready for anything.
There is a road laid out for me.
First